Good late Tuesday, early Wednesday meteorologist Casey Cloud here in the Weather Center right now, giving you a look at that Doppler radar picture across the region. See some sprinkles there toward the north, more towards central Georgia. Not too big of a deal here as we're looking early in the overnight around 1:30 or so on that Wednesday morning. You do see a few sprinkles in the Gulf. Just nothing too crazy. 77 degrees right now around Keystone, 76 Gainesville. I know where I'm at here east of Stark, we're down to 74 degrees, but it's definitely a humid pattern, a hot pattern. Heat advisory in place. We're looking to head toward that Wednesday toward the Tallahassee area, so just be extra careful when there's not rain around. It's definitely going to feel and be dangerously hot at times, so just keep that in mind and drink plenty of water. Try not to be outside too long if you can avoid it. Just be very careful there with the heat, obviously. Those heat index values getting into toward those triple digits and being oppressive here. So just got to be extra careful in that regard. I know we're watching more moisture in Georgia. I mean, as I bagged this up 4 hours ago, you go to see we had warnings and all sorts of stuff on the map. We had a few local warnings back on that Tuesday, but nothing too crazy across our region overall. We are watching the tropics. I'm not turning the logo red, though. It's not too big of a deal at this point as we look at things for our local area, but things can change. I know back in 2012 we had a storm. This one, could, if it develops, could be called Debbie. And the 2012 Debbie was very tricky with the forecast, and then it dumped a whole bunch of rain, a lot of flooding rains toward the local area. So things can definitely be, changeable with the tropics. So just stay tuned. But right now, not too concerned. Actually, not gonna have a full update late Thursday. Thursday there, I'm off then. But if I need to come on here as needed, I will obviously post updates as needed, like I do with the severe weather alerts over there on Facebook, Casey Cloud, WX Cloud Weather, Twitter/X at Cloud Casey as well. So just kind of keep that in mind. I know, just watching everything here for you. Just watching the pictures form out toward the Midwest. I know they've been tracking severe weather threats more as we look ahead toward that Wednesday, even and Thursday, as we get out toward the Midwest. So definitely a storyline to keep our eyes on there. I know there's a severe thunderstorm watch for areas of Iowa until 7 a.m. Central Time, so I'm going to be watching that carefully a little longer on a severe thunderstorm watch in parts of Tennessee there. Another hour maybe, we'll see, but again, just watching things, on that national level and the local level. Again, we are watching the tropics out there. And I'll go ahead and get our satellite information loaded on up in here and try to give you guys the latest on what's going on. So, we'll be watching things out there in terms of potential tropical development. I know, let's see from newest outlook from the Hurricane Center in Miami's out. It doesn't look like it at first glance. Let me check another source though, just to make sure as we are tracking things out there. I know, looking out there, yeah, the 8 p.m. at 80, 8 p.m. a 60% chance there of development as we look further on out, just kind of giving you an idea of what's going on. Watching some, activity out here in terms of some thunderstorm potential. I don't even want to say the graphic from the Hurricane Center really, because it does show near potential development, and that does line up over Florida potentially, but you don't really have tropical systems develop over land, and the threat, it might be a little more right now for Florida if it were to develop, especially if it were to develop toward the, the peninsula. It'd probably be more bark than bite, so just keep that in mind. But, we'll watch just in case if it were to get up toward the Carolinas, get up a little more to it, or if somehow they were able to kind of just spin around in the Gulf, like the GFS American model says. Then we'll have to kind of, watch it a little more carefully because it could have more time to get stronger maybe further out somewhere along the Gulf Coast instead. So there's some uncertainty there. Newest update from the Hurricane Center just came out, saying a 60% chance there. Talking about the 8 p.m. update earlier on. I know the 2 a.m. update saying 60% chance of development in terms of tropical formation. Repeat tropical depression forming late this week or over the weekend. Why it's in the vicinity of the Greater Antilles, the Bahamas, or near Florida. So we'll watch carefully, but nothing to stress out about right now. Not turning the logo red or anything like that. Here's the graphics. Next name on the list is Debbie. The hurricane season runs through November 30th. And then as we go ahead and see the tropical climatology here, and as we get toward August, which, you know, is less than 24 hours away, chances start going up, but later August to early October is when we're really watching very, very carefully in the tropics. And then as you look here the next 7 days in terms of rain, you can kind of see the footprint of maybe something. I know if we did get something to develop closer to the East Coast, there are some still lingering effects, you know, some of those areas in our southern viewing area, especially like in Flagler County from Ian and Nicole with some of the erosion and the likes. Got to keep that in mind. And then the west coast, and there's some lingering effects there as well from, you know, Ian and other storms here. But down in our area, though, I don't know how much, if this were to kind of evolve, how much it would really have a, you know, just a continuing effect, because it wouldn't be that strong that close to the coast probably. But you can kind of see here toward Tampa, toward Orlando. So a little more rain right now, according to the official forecast from the Weather Prediction Center. 3 or 4 inches there. South Florida, same thing. North Florida right now looking like maybe 1, 2 inches on average. South Georgia closer to just over an inch on average. So we'll be watching things. I know you can go to cloudweather.com/radar for an interactive look at things. And then here's your fog safety tips. I know I'm going to have to watch. I know we've been tracking a little bit of fog around Tallahassee, even looking at some of the reporting information coming in here to the Weather Center. We're seeing some of that here a little bit earlier on. Right now, not seeing that as much, but some of the models showing some fog potentials. Thought I'd include that graphic in here, and then our covered area, we're always on top of things for the 62 counties here. And then as we look, we are watching tropics locally a little bit, but not too concerned. Just stay tuned just in case things change around. I know back in 2012, that version of Debbie, it was looking like it was headed toward Texas, and then it headed toward our area. So it has had a lot of problems with it. It caused a lot of flooding, but you know, no storms, no 2 storms, or just a light. But 60% chance of rain on Wednesday, 50% on Thursday, 60 on Friday, back a little down Saturday before we watch whatever maybe develops tropically, give us some increase in moisture, possibly. It might not. The DFS would say it would, and the European, well, if it moves away the way it was looking on that, it might actually reduce the rain chances some as it does move away. But I'm kind of hedging between them right now. Temperatures there, low, mid-90s, you know, warm up to the peak, closer to the mid-90s, peak into the day. Those lows there on 74, give or take, depending on where you are in the geographic picture. But again, that's kind of the storyline right now. We're watching the tropics, but nothing to really stress out about here at this point. I know we'll keep our eyes on everything. You know, we'll keep our eyes on the tropical picture there, obviously. But again, not too big of a deal right now. We'll be looking at things out there just in case. But, you know, just not crazy concerned at this point in time, which is good. But there's a 60% chance of some development in that area. Whatever becomes of it could get close toward Florida. So we'll watch it. But again, we're off Thursday. No one will update them. We'll break in if an ad needed for whether it's this or some type of really, you know, enhanced type of severe weather around our area. I know we had to come on over the weekend for that flash flooding on Valdosta. Some cars, you know, ended up getting flooded out. So not what we want to hear, obviously, there toward Lowndes County. Had some other flooding around as well. But that was a focal point there over the weekend. That's going to do it for now. And just since we're not planning on having to do another update unless there's inclement conditions where we got to break in, just go ahead and enjoy, you know, the Olympics. Enjoy the weekend ahead. I know it's still a few days away, but it's never too early to look ahead toward the weekend. So that's going to do it for now. We'll be on if needed. But right now, not planning on anything unless something really, you know, of course, in terms of hyper-local weather, in terms of maybe a quick spin of tornado just happens in the summertime pattern, you know, or if something really gets going with the tropics, then we may have to come on the air, of course, in the form of a tornado warning. We would be on the air immediately to protect you, your friends, and your family if we had a local tornado warning within our 62 counties. So, not expecting that necessarily, but this time of year, things can always kind of happen pretty quickly. So, we'll be here watching things. Otherwise, enjoy that night, enjoy that next several day period ahead.